everyone, my name is Brittany and welcome back to my channel. And today, during this holiday season, I'll be reading a few sci-fi reads to finish up my year.
It's Brittany, bitch.
So I'm gonna be touching on 3 different books during this. One is an ARC that I received from NetGalley, and then two of them are books that I need to complete before the end of the year. And these are the last 2 books on my 21 books to read in 2021. So I'm pretty proud of myself for actually getting to these, but I put them off all year because I kind of don't really know if I'm gonna like them. So the first book that I'm gonna be getting into is Station 11. And this book has been praised by so many freaking people ever since it came out in like 2015 or whatever the hell it came out. And I'm listening to the audio of this and I'm actually like 45% of the way into it. And I'm enjoying it at the moment. I'm still a little bit confused as to the point of the novel, but basically Station 11 is about a pandemic hitting the world and the world basically ending. And then this traveling troupe of actors that reenact Shakespeare plays and stuff, they are traveling throughout the Great Lakes area, like Ohio and such. And I'm not really sure of the relevance of a couple of things so far, and I could not tell you anyone's names. I understand who people are whenever I'm listening to the audiobook, but I couldn't really tell you about who they are, like, and what their purpose is, because I'm not really sure myself. We are getting some past chapters and then some future chapters. So that's kind of an interesting concept that I wasn't expecting. I knew there was some mixed media, and apparently because one of them in the future is like an interview. I'm gonna keep you updated. Hopefully I can finish it by tomorrow. I mean, I listened to almost 50% while I was at work today, and hopefully my work is even quieter tomorrow, and then I can maybe finish this. But so far, I'm not sure if I'm really feeling it. I think it has a great ideas and it's beautifully written, but none of the characters are really sticking out to me. Maybe it's also because I'm not reading it in person. So that's the plan. I'll tell you about the other 2 books when I get to them. I mean, you can obviously see them in the freaking thumbnail and down below. I don't hide that, but I don't feel like talking about them and putting up their freaking pictures right now. So we're going to continue to listen to this, and I'll probably give you an update on this tomorrow. Okay, friends, so I have decided that I think I'm actually going to DNF Station 11. I'm really not feeling it. It is so boring and so confusing, and I think that's why I put it off to the end of the year. Like, I kind of already knew I wasn't really gonna like it from what I've heard from other people, but I liked the premise of like them going through this pandemic and surviving in like a post-apocalyptic world, and I like those, like that theme and those parts, but this is just not done in a way that I enjoy. We are going between the past and the present so much, and she's constantly switching narrative styles. It goes from like letters to like an interview to like third person, and there's so many different characters that I can't keep any one straight. Like, I honestly can't. And like one of the main characters is Arthur, who's like this actor. We're kind of following his life in the past. Like, I give a shit. I just don't really understand like the plot. Like, if there is one, I'm very confused. And I just really wish it was a little more linear, but I think it's like trying to drop little Easter eggs, and I've kind of gotten like a few things. Like, I just don't really know if it matters though. I'm trying, but I am so bored listening to this. I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna DNF it. Like, I've read some reviews, I looked up some spoilers. I don't really think it's gonna get much better for me going forward. I think going back and forth is just, it's been a snooze. Like, I am just bored and confused. I think if we followed maybe 1 or 2 characters the whole way through and maybe a more linear format, I would have enjoyed this, because I actually really enjoyed the beginning and then the pandemic happening. And then once I started going between the past and the present and adding in all these different characters, I was like, why do I care? I think this was a great premise. It just was not done in a way that I appreciate. And I think the writing can be strong at times, but other times, like, we don't need a 200+ word sentence. Like, we really don't, sweetie. Don't need it. And I just find some of like the stuff unrealistic, like in terms of the people who are in like the future, and it's like the dystopia and like the, you know, the collapse. Like, how do you forget how electricity works? It had so much potential. I just didn't like the way this is done, and I'm DNFing it. I'm done. I'm tired of trying. I think it's the end of the year, and I have no patience left. I have no patience to try to get through a freaking book, because there's so many other books I'd like to get to before the end of the year. And you know what? I'm done. So on to the next one, I guess. I'll let you know which one I decide to do whenever I show it to you. But for now, I'm done. And you know what? I don't really feel bad at all. Not at all. So I just got back from doing a few errands. I had to go to Target and get a couple things. And then I also decided to go to the library, and unfortunately they're closed today, so I couldn't go pick up the other 2 books for this reading vlog, but like, whatever. I ended up going and getting a smoothie bowl, which I've never done. You really think I would have, because I enjoy smoothies. This is a passion fruit bowl, and I got strawberries, bananas, and granola on it. And I'm gonna split with my brother for like a pre-dinner snack because I just ate lunch really early today and I'm fucking starving. And also, I plan to go into this place anyway because they offer wheatgrass shots, and I've decided I want to try doing that a little bit through the winter time because I just feel like I don't eat as many vegetables for some reason. I really don't know why. I think it's just like comfort food. Like I tend not to think about stuff with vegetables, and then in the summer and springtime, I always have like a lot of veggies. So I decided to do that because each wheatgrass shot is like 2.5 pounds of vegetables or something like that. I don't know if that's true. I think belief is more powerful anyway. So if I believe it is, it is. And now we're gonna go make dinner, and we're having like chicken, Brussels sprouts, and having a sweet potato. Very healthy dinner. But it's gonna take forever to roast in the freaking oven. So that's also why I got this. And I feel like Gabby from Gabby Rees because she always eats these. She gets the acai bowls. I feel like acai kind of tastes like dirt a little bit, but they do have a bowl that like is this mixed with acai. So I want to try this first and see if I even like this or like this format or the style or whatever they offer. I don't know. We'll see if I even like it. So that's what we're doing tonight. And I started a new book for this vlog called Mickey 7, and it is an arc from NetGalley. And I'll describe a little bit more of it later, but basically, like, Mickey 7, he isn't like a clone of himself. He basically is the 7th version of himself where he can be, like, rebooted and regenerated and, like, a new version of him can be made because he's basically used for dangerous missions. So if, like, one of his versions die, they count him as dead, and then they just create a new one, like, the next day. So this is the 7th version of him, and apparently he ends up living even though they thought he died or was going to die. And now there's an 8th one, and I think it's going to cause some interesting issues. And it's kind of advertised as Dark Matter meets The Martian. And I love Dark Matter, and I loved the other Andy Weir book I read called Project Hail Mary. And I know it's basically kind of like The Martian, but like a little bit different. So those are both like 4 or 5 stars for me. So I'm expecting this to be a really good one. And it's probably my most anticipated book of this reading vlog because it just sounds so good. That's why I requested it right away. So I'm hoping it's delicious as well as this little bowl. And I'll talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow. So I've gotten 25% of the way into Mickey 7, and so far I'm actually really enjoying it. I think it was time for a really good sci-fi for me. So far in the book, we are basically seeing the past Mickey explaining why he chose to be an expendable for this like space expedition and leave his other home planet. And then we're also seeing present Mickey dealing with the fact that he has survived what was supposed to be his death. And now he's met with Mickey 8, who is his new version. And of course, on this expedition, every single person is necessary, and they're really upset that they can't find Mickey 7's body, and it's because obviously he's still alive, and because usually they try to recycle the bodies into like this, I don't know, this kind of weird recycle thing, and it recycles pretty much everything they use in the colony. And anyway, it's really interesting, and so far I'm really enjoying it. And I actually had a dream about it last night, like almost like a little bit of a stress dream, I don't know, but I enjoyed it, so I'm gonna continue on. It's a lot better than Station 11. And it's definitely giving me that like the spacey sci-fi thing I was looking for, which some things just don't hit. And even though it might be sci-fi or dystopian, it still doesn't give you true science fiction like in space all the time. So I'm really feeling it. I hope it continues to be good, and I'll see how much I can get done probably tomorrow. So I ended up finishing Mickey 7. And I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I think it is a really well done sci-fi novel. We're basically following the 7th iteration of Mickey. He is a human who has decided his life away as an expendable on this like colonization mission. And so they put him out to do these most dangerous jobs. So if he dies, he can just get reborn in a tank like the very next moment. And it's really interesting. I really love that concept. But Mickey 7 did not die when he was supposed to, or when they thought he did, like on a mission when he was like scouting the terrain. And so they already made Mickey 8. So now Mickey 8 and Mickey 7 are living in the same quarters, trying not to get caught, because obviously neither one of them wants to die because they're still their own consciousness and their own person. And it's a really interesting dynamic to watch them kind of fight over their rations, because their rations also keep being reduced because of like bad things that are happening on their like dome. So they keep getting less and less rations, and hearing about their calories is really interesting. He talked a lot about that because obviously their food is heavily monitored on a, colonization mission, and they're on like an alien planet basically that they're trying to colonize, and how, they're having a hard time getting stuff to grow, so they eat like this gross calorie paste. I feel it. So without going into any spoilers for this is a really light and irreverent sci-fi. It's really funny. He kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit. I think it's not something too serious, and I think I enjoy that. I think it definitely has like the Martian feel, but then I can see why they brought in the dark matter feel, obviously, where there's a clone of him and they both don't want to die and they're trying not to get caught, but also trying to find a way to stay alive. What I thought was really interesting too is there's like a religion called like natalism, where they basically believe that if you were like an expendable and you can obviously be like kind of like reborn in a tank, because your consciousness is uploaded and they upload it to like your human body they recreated, that you're like a soulless monster. And then there's people called ghost chasers who like to have sex with expendables because it's like taboo in their religion. That was a really interesting thing, and I honestly wish, like, I hope that this author comes out with more books in this, like, universe. I think there's a really interesting dynamic in a lot of parts of this, and he already kind of created a world that I really just want to see more of, and I really kind of wish we saw a little bit more of that. A lot of this book is flashbacks, which I think is really cool because it kind of gathers some information about the world and why expendables are so hated, and like how their colonization missions have gone, like have they failed or they succeeded, and like what happened. I thought it was kind of interesting, but I also wish it followed more on the present timeline. Like that was my biggest complaint, is I really just wanted more of the present timeline to feel more for these characters. I also wish we got a better ending, and not that it was a bad ending, but I just wish it was like better fleshed out and a little bit longer, because I feel like it was just really quick and I would have liked a little more explanation. And again, I think I would like to read other things from this world. I do know I really like the romance as well. There was a little bit of romance in here, but it was very believable. It was very chill. It wasn't a big part of the storyline. I think that's something that I enjoyed. And there was just like some funny parts in this. So I think if you want a really light, fun sci-fi read, I would 100% recommend it. So it's gonna get a 4 stars from me. However, I read The City We Became on audiobook, and I've actually already finished it because it's been multiple days since I've last talked to you. Here's my problem. I wanted to DNF this book so bad, and I decided not to because I was not gonna DNF 2 books in one reading vlog because I didn't have any other like sci-fi books I wanted to read to like kind of make up for that. So I finished it. And again, every single book I've ever wanted to DNF and I finished, I don't think I would have regretted DNFing it. And I think this is actually gonna get a less star rating than Station 11. Because Station 11, I actually really liked the beginning of Station 11, and then I just got really convoluted and confusing and I just really wasn't invested. So it got like basically a 1.5 out of me. But I honestly think I'm gonna give this We Became 1 star because I just did not enjoy one bit of this. I listened to the entire thing on audio, and mind you, the prologue is over 45 minutes long, so I'm just gonna warn you there. I thought this book was really drawn out for what it was, and the idea of people who are like part of the city and like each person represents a bureau of New York City, I thought was such a cool idea, but then they're like battling these like tentacle monsters, and I just really didn't care. I feel like there was really no stakes. This book was also very racially charged, and I've read a lot of things about N.K. Jemisin, you know, having good racially charged books and how, you know, it talks about racism and classism and all these like amazing points, but it's very nuanced, and that's why I've always kind of wanted to read her. But even when I read some of the other reviews, a lot of other people also complained about how this book was very stereotypical and just shoved race in your face the whole time. Like every single person in this book who was white was evil, and it was just a little bit frustrating because I just felt like everything was so good versus evil, and there was a lot of other like stereotypes I just didn't really enjoy for some of the characters. Like one of the Indian characters I felt like was very stereotypical and like wasn't very well done. I just also, every single white person was evil or a demon or racist, or it just doesn't make for a great story when also everyone is good versus evil. And I also didn't really care about these like tentacle monsters taking over New York City, and their soft magic system was so soft it felt like there really wasn't a magic system. It was also just incredibly boring. Like I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't care about anything. Like I actually don't think I've been that less invested in such a cool idea in such a really long time, because it just was not done in a way that I enjoyed. And there's nothing else I can say that can explain why I didn't enjoy it. But when I read other reviews, I felt pretty validated that other people felt the exact same way. I really don't know if I have anything positive to say about it, to be honest. And I'm just really disappointed because it's my first N.K. Jemisin book. Was that successful? Probably not. The only book I actually enjoyed at its entire reading vlog was Mickey 7. And it's an arc that isn't even out. I believe it comes out of March of next year. So I'm really sorry that the only book I enjoyed was one that comes out next year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry if I trashed one of your favorite books. I know a lot of people love Station 11. I know a lot of people love N.K. Jemisin, so I'm very sorry if you're offended. It's just my opinion and how I did not care for these books. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.